Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pulp Report. This is JohnnySuds.
And I'm Koramora.
And we're here to talk to you about what has been going on in the world of gaming. Whole bunch of stuff for you guys. I know last week we mentioned the games that were leaked to be free for Xbox One and Xbox 360 for gold members in the month of August. I think the information we gave you was incorrect. The leak was since redacted, and the new information has come out. Free games in August on Xbox One are going to be Slime Rancher and Trials Fusion. And for the Xbox 360, Bayonetta and Red Faction Armageddon. So this is a perk of being an Xbox Live Gold member. Basically, you pay the monthly fee, or you can do it yearly or whatever. And you're able to get perks like obviously being able to play online and communicate with your friends and parties and stuff like that. But they also throw in a couple of free games. I think it's because now they have competition. You know, they used to be one of the only ones that had this online service, and it was really kind of next level. And then obviously, you know, PlayStation caught up with it when the PS4 came out and really kind of took it to that level. So, and then, you know, they started offering similar things like free games and things along those lines. So Xbox's kind of way to rebuttal was, well, here's some free games and some other perks and stuff to be a gold member with us here at Xbox to kind of stop people from jumping ship.
Yeah, they also offer some exclusive deals specifically for gold members too. So On top of the free games that you get every month, there's also popular games that have price reductions, so go check those out too. Yeah,
for example, a couple of them this month are going to be Hitman's Complete. First season is down to like $24. Homefront: The Revolution, which is basically alternative reality, what if the US was invaded type of game. That's the second game in this series, is $12. Instead, I mean, you got to think these games when they come out are almost always $60, so just to be able to get them for, you know, a little bit is great. And then you can get the Mega Man Legacy Collection for $10 on Xbox as well. And then for Xbox 360, LA Noire, which is kind of like a mix of the Mafia games, and it's kind of like a puzzly, like detective type of game. That was a fun game I played through a few years back. Max Payne 3 and Grand Theft Auto 4 for $8. You can get Grand Theft Auto 4. That's
a steal.
Yeah, that game. All right, starting off early with the puns. So, everything else looking great this week. Have some flashback systems coming out in September as well.
Yeah, so on top of the Super NES Classic that was announced, AT Games is actually coming out with 4 updated versions of previous flashback systems and 2 new ones. So, as some of you may not know, Nintendo wasn't the first company to come out with these flashback systems. We actually have a flashback Sega Genesis. It's not even the first one. I think it's like the 3rd or 4th flashback of the Sega Genesis. Mm-hmm. 2 new ones coming out are the Atari Flashback 8 Gold and another Sega Genesis flashback. These both come out on September 22nd. The updated versions of the 4 flashbacks come out on September 1st. Pretty much the updated ones have new games.
Preloaded?
Yeah, preloaded on. I know the one we have, our Sega Genesis, has 81 games preloaded. Yeah. So if you compare that to the NES Classic that only has 30, it's kind of a steal, and it's about the same price.
And I believe that can take cartridges as well.
Yes, there are limited cartridges, it said, that can be taken through there is like a cartridge slot that you can pop it into, so we haven't tried that out yet.
No, we haven't. And the good thing about the Sega Genesis one too, it was far less expensive, I believe.
Yeah, it was only $40.
Yeah, and it comes with 2 wireless controllers.
Yeah.
So that just run on plain old batteries, so you don't have to worry about spending the extra money and end up, you know, spending $100. So if you're more of a Sega Genesis kid than you were a Super Nintendo person, that might be the best bet for you. Either way, it's exciting for me to still see like the revitalization of these old games on like that kind of front. I mean, because you know, you can go online and find a lot of these games to play for free. You know, go download an emulator and get a ROM or something like that. But to be able to play it with the actual controller on maybe a TV that's, you know, not as great as your other TVs, you know, it brings back that nostalgia. I'll sit down on the carpet, crisscross applesauce to play these games just to bring that back.
And this way you're still supporting the company too. ROMs aren't the most legal way to play the games.
Right.
So this way you pay, it's like less 50 cents a game for like 80 games from $40. So
yeah, so plenty of those coming out. If you guys have any questions about any of those flashback systems, send us a message, leave us a comment. We'll be happy to get back to you on that. And what else we have going on this past week, Ash? What else we have going on this past week there, Koramora?
Well, one big news story that's kind of been popping up over the last few weeks are the Overwatch leagues. Those actually begin next year, and what they are is pretty much esports and large investors have been buying each of these teams. There are 7 confirmed teams throughout the world, 5 in the US, and the other 2 are out in Asian countries. I believe they're both in Japan. One might be in China, one might be in Japan.
Maybe Korea. I think one's
Korea. Oh,
Korea.
yeah, Korea. You're right.
Korea's way into Overwatch, so a lot of competitive teams out there. There's a lot of random events. You'll see them pop up on YouTube and Twitch that you can watch. You can actually watch those like tournament cups leading up to get familiar with some of these guys that are going to be and gals that are going to be playing at that highest competitive level in this game. So for me, that's what's really going to help to drive this type of industry. Is when people watch sports, they're invested in the team and then they're invested in the players. Like in an actual sport. So for something like this, it's going to be really important for these the companies essentially to make us invested in the people that are playing this game, because then we're going to root for certain teams. We're going to have some sort of reason to tune in and watch them. Spend a few hours of your day watching these people play a video game. If you've ever played Overwatch and not watched people play at the super competitive level, it's insane. They're absolutely ridiculously good. Like they're so far steps ahead. They're doing things to counter things that they know their enemy's going to do that they wouldn't be doing if they weren't as good as they are. I know that doesn't really make sense unless you really think about it.
It changes the gameplay quite a bit when you're playing against other people who are as high of a caliber rather than just some people who kind of play casually.
Yeah, but it's crazy to me that like Robert Kraft, for example, is one of the investors that we know of right now in this area. He, if you don't know, is the current owner of the New England Patriots, an NFL team, and he thought it a real good idea to invest into an esports team along with so many others. And actually just I saw something recently that it's not in England had added a professional team as well, so there will be a European team.
They did say there were more teams to come too.
But it's crazy. These guys are going to be on salary. They're going to have bonuses if they win tournaments. That gives them incentive to practice and, play well. Benefits. Like, that's crazy. You're going to be having a legitimate salary job for a company playing a video game rather than relying on tips, donations, streams, investors, advertisers, stuff like that. So
right. And not to mention those tournament bonuses can get into the 7 digits. So that's pretty nice to split between the team.
Yeah.
It really ups that $50,000 a year with benefits.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really going to make people want to play really well. And I think the really good thing about this, I think the majority of the people you'll see will be younger as far as the ones that'll be playing, but there's no age barring of this. Like, if a 65-year-old guy wants to go and become a professional football player, they're going to say no way. But if he wants to go and, if he's really good at a video game and have a chance, then at least he'll have a chance, right? Or is there any sort of restrictions on that?
There's you have to be old enough. So I think, I'm assuming it's going to be 18 or something along those lines that you have to be. And you also have to be a certain skill level. I'm sure it has to be a certain rank, which they haven't really announced yet. But the good thing about this is they're not just going right after the popular Overwatch esports players right now. Like, if you are the right age, right skill level, they'll be looking at you, and there's player signings going on now until October 30th as well. Yeah,
that's exciting. It's a whole nother, reason to play. I mean, it could really turn into a career for people. And just so you guys know, for Overwatch specifically, the way that the skill rating works is essentially you play ranked play at the beginning of each season. They're currently on competitive season 5 since the game first came out. So each season, you're going to do 10 placement matches. These placement matches are going to determine your skill rating for the beginning of that season, and it also takes into account your skill ratings in the past seasons as well. It's on a scale from, I think, pretty much 0 up to 4,500. So you'll do those 10 placement matches based on how you play, how many wins and losses you get. You're going to be given a skill rating, and then you're going to be faced with people. You're going to be put in a bracket of bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamonds, and it goes so on until you reach those kind of grandmaster levels. And you're going to be paired with people that are within your skill rating. The lower it is, the kind of bigger range it has. So, for example, if you're in 2,000 skill rating, you're going to be able to play with people on 1,000 either way. And then as it gets closer and closer, the skill rating is smaller, so you're playing with better and better players. So go out there, play some ranked play, and who knows, maybe we'll be all watching you on TV one day.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Some more announcements with Overwatch, by the way. Just yesterday, I believe it was, maybe 2 days ago.
From when we're recording this.
Yeah, from when we're recording this. It was this past week, the week of August 7th. 7th was the Monday, or no, whatever. It's August. You guys know what day it is. Either way, the summer games are live in Overwatch right now. So Overwatch does these events periodically, and they essentially change the loot boxes so you can get different skins and different tags and sprays, emotes for your characters. And they also add some really cool game modes. Like for this one, they have Lucio Ball, which is essentially I don't want to say rip-off, but it's essentially the same thing as this game, Rocket League, which is basically a mixture of a car game and soccer, where you're going to have 3v3 or 2v2 or whatever, playing as a car, boosting around, shooting this giant ball into your opponent's goal. For this, you have the player Lucio. Lucio is a healing class, but he also does speed increases, and he has a boop ability, so he's going to be able to boop that ball.
A boop ability.
Yeah, he literally, in one of his voice lines, is literally boop, so you can... So you'll basically, it's 3v3, and you can hit the ball, go back and forth, pass with your teammates. It's pretty fun. I did play a couple rounds of it. And the cool thing about this one, because a lot of the game modes they add for these, they're just kind of for fun. This one, they actually added a competitive mode. So exact same ratings we were talking about before, same exact thing for Lucio Ball. So you're going to do those 10 placement matches, you're going to get a rating, then you're going to play with people, and then if you win, your rating's going to increase over time, and if you lose, it's going to decrease. So those better players that win more consistently will rise to the top, same way they do in the regular modes.
And this mode is only available for 3 weeks, so you have a limited time to play this version of the game.
Yeah.
So do it while you can.
And who knows, maybe they'll even be recruiting for Lucio Ball teams in the future.
Lucio Ball League teams.
Yeah.
And one little announcement that they did last year, because of the Rio Olympics, they had a Rio map. And this year they have added Sydney to that, a Sydney map to that rotation. So there's 2 different ones. So maybe in the future we'll get some Tokyo maps, or we'll see, or LA. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, this will be a nice little recurring game mode. So they're doing it in a similar way where they're calling this Season 1 of Lucio Ball. You'll be able to play all summer, in quotes, by meaning that the next 3 weeks while the event
the rest
is
of
live.
the summer.
Which is essentially the rest of the summer. Yeah, it'll be... Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
Wow, why did I say that? Oh, geez, it's going to be fall soon? Oh, that's no good. But yeah, anyway, that's fun. So if you guys are Overwatch players, I'm sure you already know a lot about what we just talked about, but either way, go play some ranked matches and get signed. So we had not really too much on the side of releases, of really notable games this week. But something that I found was really cool was Steam has launched over 1,000 games in 7 weeks because they made it so easy for I shouldn't only say easy, but inexpensive for developers to be able to make their games and put them on Steam so that they can get them out to the public, so these millions of people that are Steam users can play their games.
Right, which is amazing because there's always that game that was kind of not cheaply made, but just unknown, just made by a single game developer. That becomes just a complete, amazing, like, one-hit wonder almost.
Yeah.
So Steam allowing the easeability of games to come out just makes that much more possible.
Yeah, and also just exciting for a game developer. If you've been working on a game for, months or years, and you just, how am I going to get this out to people? Are people going to like it? Here's a great way to find out. It's what they're called a Greenlight Initiative. And it gives developers a chance to get their games on Steam for just a $100 fee. So you pay the one-time $100 fee, you're able to get your game out there in the store, and then I'm sure the better it does, I'm sure they have their whole analytics like Netflix does and YouTube does to get things that rise to the top. Have special offers and stuff, so people will see it more often. So, but it's interesting. There's so many games out there. I mean, me and you have found some random games that are really fun to play, that are arcadey or 8-bit games that are just really in depth and really fun to play through.
Or one that's a piece of poop that you have to fly and hit people in the face with it.
Yeah,
that's a Steam game.
Yeah, that's a Steam game. You play
Muddy Heights, I think it's called.
Yeah, it's called Muddy Heights, and it's a game about poop. That among many more. I played this other one lately. What was it called? Hotline Miami. And it's like a little overhead, kind of like 16-bit-ish game, and it's just a tactical, like, shooter. You got to clear the level, rescue the person, and come back down. So a couple other games we played like that too. But yeah, so go dig in the Steam store. Go find a game for cheap or free, play it, tell us how you liked it, and hopefully you'll help a young developer find his stride in creating the future of video games.
Also this week announced was the Fallout 4 Game of the Year edition. This edition's coming out for PS4, PC, and Xbox One, and it includes all of the DLC that came out for Fallout 4.
Yes. So that's going to be things like Nuka World, the Vault Tech Workshop, which allows you to like make other robots and stuff. The Nuka World is kind of like their Disney World, or more like Hershey's, theme park in real life. It's like a theme park, and there's ghouls and stuff running around, bunch of side quests to do. Contraptions Workshop, that's making like traps, things like that. Far Harbor, which is like Bahaba in Boston, and then the Wasteland Workshop and the Automatron. So that's like a little robot that follows you around, I believe. I played through Fallout 4 through the end of the story. I didn't play any of the DLCs, even though I have them. It's still on my to-do list because that game is so fun. It's a game from Bethesda, if you don't know, open world. There is a main storyline, but tons and tons of side quest content, collecting, crafting, and you're just exploring a post-apocalyptic world. And this one, each one has its own setting. This one's set in the Northeast, specifically the Boston and surrounding regions. So for me, being from that area originally, very exciting to kind of play through and be like, oh, I know this area, sort of, kind of,
It's fun to see Fenway as like a huge town.
Yeah, right. So that's exciting. And I'm not going to get that because I essentially already have that, but it's cool to see, the Game of the Year editions come out for games like this that did so well, has such a good community of people that support it, make memes about it and GIFs. It'll be a good one.
There's also a Pip-Boy edition coming out where I believe it actually comes with a Pip-Boy for you to use. And I think it's like the app where it works with the game, I believe. I'm not too sure about that, but
I've seen a few of like homemade ones where people like slide their cell phone in with the app and they'll be able to play with it there, but to see an actual playing one, that would be really cool. So, a couple more things for you guys. EA Access just added Battlefield 1 to the Vault. And basically, if you don't know, EA Access is essentially you pay either a monthly or yearly fee. I think it's $30 for the year or something like that, or at least it was when I had originally signed up. And you have exactly that, access to a bunch of EA games. It's over 25 titles now. Basically, pretty much everything a year back for the sports games, and then all those past shooters like Battlefield 4, now Battlefield 1, Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare, and stuff like that. So tons of fun games on that. Super good value. If you're like, man, I really like EA games, I don't know what to buy. I like all these games, but I don't want to spend that much money. EA Access is a great way to go. Go play all those old sports games a year back and pretty much any shooter. And then if you really find that you like a game, you can buy it and have it permanently. Then you don't have to pay the monthly subscription. So a real cheap way to kind of try out a lot of those games. I'm thinking they're doing that because of the approach of Battlefront 2. Battlefront 2 is going to be coming out this fall. That's going to be EA's kind of next big shooter. So I'm thinking because of that, they're like, all right, well, now you can play Battlefield 1 for free because we're going to have even bigger, better stuff for you.
Yeah, exactly.
So, go check that out. You can get EA Access on Xbox One, PS4, and then I believe it's called Origin Access if you're a PC user. So Origin is EA's Steam, essentially, where you can browse all the EA games, download them, and buy them from there. So don't bother searching Steam for those types of games. They'll be in their own little spot. All right, last thing for you guys. August 10th was the release of the new Hearthstone expansion pack, Knights of the Frozen Throne. So this is just new cards, some solo adventures, which is nice. And Hearthstone, if you don't know, is Blizzard's essentially trading card game. You're going to build a deck, you're going to fight other people or computers or however you want to play it to defeat the other person. You get their health down to 0. Each person starts with 30. Tons and tons of cards and content. So it's good to see another set. Mixes up those top tier decks and makes it so, there's new content, new best heroes to have and play against. One thing that's exciting is they're adding a whole new card type to this, which is the hero card. So this essentially is allowing you to have a card that's going to replace your hero with a Death Knight version of itself. So this expansion is kind of lining up with the Wrath of the Lich King of the World of Warcraft series, where you're going to have the Lich King as its kind of your big bad guy, if you will, and then some other, the Death Knight, which was the character that was released with World of Warcraft. So we're going to have characters that you'll replace your hero. It's going to change your hero power, give you a battle cry of some sort, give you some more armor, and you'll be able to create a whole new deck around that. So that's exciting.
Is the new pack free, or do you have to use in-game coinage to purchase?
So you're going to have some ways of getting free packs entirely, like completing the solo adventures, which are free. You'll get some cards and packs that you'll be able to use. And then you'll be able to use some in-game currency, the gold coins that you get. It's 100 coins per pack. Or you can buy them with real money. It's usually about like $1 a pack, but it scales up to be less expensive per pack the more that you buy in bulk.
With Hearthstone, is it possible to be able to get pretty much every card just by playing the games and winning?
Yeah,
cards?
I mean, you're going to have to play substantially more, because the other thing that you can do to get cards in Hearthstone is to craft them, and you do that by getting what's called dust. And you can get dust by deconstructing cards that you don't necessarily want or use. So if you're really focused on building one deck and making it the best, you'll be able to get every card you want, because you'll be able to basically toss aside, deconstruct any cards you want, turn them into powder, then use that powder to craft a specific card, or use the gold that you get from either completing quests or winning games to be able to buy packs to then eventually get more cards to deconstruct, or the cards that you actually need in the first place.
And so on and so forth.
And so on and so forth. And I mean, the big draw of this game is to be able to rank up like anything else. There's ranked mode. You'll beat characters. You'll go through the ranks starting at 25 all the way to 1, and then there's a legend rank at the very top as well. That's where you'll see those high levels. So I like this game. The trading card kind of types of games were usually weird for me. But this one kind of struck home for me. Obviously, I played World of Warcraft in the past, so it kind of had that nostalgia feel to it where I'm playing with a lot of the similar characters and things like that without having to dive into World of Warcraft and spend 9 hours a day playing it. But also, it's strategic for me. I have to do math. I have to think about what I'm going to play first and then next and then after, and what cards am I waiting for? What cards could they have? So for me, it's just a good way to kind of get my brain going and think strategically. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it really builds off the whole hype that, I know when we were younger, Pokemon cards were the biggest thing in the world, and everyone was trading cards to the point where they completely banned them from my school because people were coming home crying because they traded their Charizard for like 3 Weedles and stuff like that. So it's taking a crazy kind of construct of trading card game and mixing it with the crazy construct of probably one of the biggest MMOs ever made and kind of smushing it into one. So it's a free-to-play game, so it's go play it. They're always coming out with new types.
And there's also a free-to-play Pokemon trading card
There
game that
is.
just came out on only tablets right now.
It came out, I heard about it a year ago, but it is technically considered in beta. It's only available on tablets, so if you have an iPad or some kind of Samsung tablet, it's also free to play. You can go download that from the App Store or the Play Store.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. That's all we have for you this week on Pulp Report. Be sure to follow Pulp Report here on YouTube. Also follow us on social media at Pulp Report on Facebook and on Twitter at TheIrrelevantOP. You can also check us out on YouTube. I'm JohnnySuds Gaming, and this is Koramora. Koramora. Thank you guys again so much for listening, and have a great week. We'll talk to you then.
Bye.